24 teams will soon populate this bracket. 10 automatic qualifiers who slept pretty easy last night. 14 at-larges who may have just been tossing and turning. But here's what you need to know about this FCS championship format. Again, as Reedy said, he burned the graphic. Top 16 teams are seeded for the first time, 1 through 16. And again, 12 regular season games for the first time. Those top 8 seeds will receive first-round byes. And that first round regionalized to limit travel. Non-seeded teams within 400 miles of seeded teams will be put there to limit that early travel. Again, 24 teams, 10 AQs, 14 at-larges. Let's go down the top 8, starting with the number 1 overall seed. Craig Hobart, it is the Montana State Bobcats out of Bozeman. What a season, unbeaten in the Big Sky.
Yeah, I mean, this makes total sense. You take care of business, you go out, you win all your games. It's all about earning it. Montana State certainly earned it with what they did, and just a really well-rounded team. Productive, high-scoring on offense. They've taken care of business on defense as well in all 3 phases and done it in a very difficult conference.
The number 2 overall seed, North Dakota State.
Yeah, got knocked off last game, but it doesn't seem to hurt them. I don't think they were going to get the number 1 seed. They only dropped to 2. Very experienced program. They know what to do. They are going to be a tough out in this tournament.
15th straight FCS appearance. One to watch for sure. The number 3 overall seed, the reigning champs, South Dakota State, Craig.
Yeah, not only the reigning champs, the back-to-back reigning champs. Back in it again, trying to do it for a 3rd straight time. They bring back experience at the quarterback position with Mark Gronkowski. 2 rushes over 500 yards. This is certainly another team to watch out there. They've been there. Can they do it again?
Again, we've had a Big Sky. We've had a couple of Missouri Valley. How about the number 4 seed? Another Missouri Valley Football Conference team, the South Dakota Coyotes.
Yeah, it just looks like football goes through the Big Sky, the Missouri Valley. South Dakota's another one. We talked about that last game of the season. They knocked off North Dakota State, an experienced group ready to go. And, they play such tough football against each other with those tough schedules all year. They are tested and ready to go for this tournament.
Again, that was a 3-way tie, North Dakota State, South Dakota State. And we resume with the number 5 overall seed, UC Davis Aggies. Craig Hobart out of the Big Sky.
Yeah, we're talking about, once again, a really tough conference, outstanding at the quarterback position, really one of the most exciting players in all of FCS there in Lan Larison, who also does rodeo in his spare time, maybe one of the most complete football players in all of FCS.
Yeah, he's one of the best all-purpose yardage backs. How about the number 6 overall seed, Incarnate Word, the champs out of the Southland?
Yeah, they can score points in a hurry. A lot of passing yards. They spread it around, multiple receivers. We'll see defensively, but they're a team that I tell you what, it's going to be a tough out as well, just because they can score a lot of points.
Zach Calzada leading the way there at quarterback. How about the number 7 seed, the Mercer Bears, their 2nd FCS playoff appearance. Mike Jacobs has them back in, and they get a bye.
Yeah, and listen, I think a lot of times you look at the game, things can get complicated. Sometimes you got to keep it simple. They are in double digits in turnover margin. You want to talk about protecting the football, getting your offense extra opportunities where they've been really effective, and their defense as well. They've been really tough against the run.
Took down Furman yesterday and get that bye. How about the final top 8 seed, the Idaho Vandals out of the Big Sky, their 14th FCS playoff
and that's
appearance.
A big deal to get the 8 seed against the 9 seed, because the 9 seed's going to play first round. Idaho gets that bye. They had a tough schedule this year. They were battle-tested, beat Wyoming out of the Mountain West this year. I think Idaho's ready to go.
Yeah, FBS win over a conference champion in Abilene Christian. Here are your top 8. Again, the road to Frisco going through these programs and these conferences. 6 of the top 8 seeds are either Big Sky or Missouri Valley.
Yeah, and so really no surprise, because they play a great brand of football up there. Again, they're ready to go, so it's going to be interesting this year.
There's some teams that knew they were in, some even with wins yesterday. Well, is that enough? Let's find out, shall we? And we'll start on the left-hand side, the top left part of the bracket. The winner of this coming matchup will take on Montana State. Who's the first team in with an at-large? Oh, we've got the New Hampshire Wildcats out of the Coastal Athletic Association, finished 8-4. second FCS playoff appearance in the last 3 seasons.
And I had New Hampshire early this year. They opened up against Big 12 UCF. Rick Santos, the head coach there, was a phenomenal player at New Hampshire. This team has gotten better throughout the season, and this is one of these teams, watch out for them. They're peaking. They get that 16th seed, which means they get to host in Durham, New Hampshire. Logan Tomlinson, one of the best receivers in the country, 77 receptions. New Hampshire did not qualify for the FCS playoffs last year. That's not normal for them. They're back here this year. Watch out for the Wildcats.
Big win over Maine on the road yesterday. Josiah Silver, one of the best guys in getting after the quarterback there for New Hampshire. So, yes, that's really important to note. They're seeding 1 through 16, so they have a 16 seed. They will host a first-round game against UT Martin, the Skyhawks, another Big South OVC team out of Martin, Tennessee. Again, we just mentioned they were part of that 4-way tie, beat Lindenwood Saturday in overtime. 8-4. Again, took SEMO to 2 overtimes. They had a nice season.
Yeah, well, that question's answered. I mean, that big win in overtime against Lindenwood gets them to 8-4, gets them in, and that's, to Craig's point, just get in the tournament. Once you get in, we'll see who can get hot. You know, the thing about UT Martin and Coach Jason Simpson, rush defense. We talk about in the playoffs, you want to be able to run the ball. They got one of the best rushing defenses in the country. They're holding teams to under 90 yards a game. It's a good thing to have when you get into the playoffs.
Especially where they may have to go the second round.
Yeah.
Where you think that game could be played on the ground. You got to be good on defense.
Chris Hunter, good with coming up picks. Patrick Smith, good at rushing the football there for UT Martin. So that's the first matchup that we know of in the first round. Again, the winner will head to Bozeman. You can see the times. You can see the networks there on ESPN Plus for the first and second rounds. All right, moving on down. The Richmond Spiders, the champs out of the Coastal Athletic Association. They do get a number 9 overall seed. That means they will host in Richmond, their 3rd straight appearance. End of the weekend, kind of maybe on that bubble for a national seed, but we're able to dispatch of William and Mary, Craig Hubbard.
Yeah, well, listen, you know, they always say defense wins championships. For Richmond, that's what they've been doing. They've been outstanding on defense, one of the top programs in all of FCS and getting after the quarterback, and that's led by Jeremiah Grant, the redshirt senior who's got 11-plus sacks. This is a player who's really elevated his game, only 4 a year ago in 2023. But most importantly, they're also able to kind of pair that defense that can get after the quarterback with a really good rushing offense. You see there, nearly 200 yards a game on the ground. Zach Palmer-Smith, the transfer, over 1,000 yards on the season.
Yeah, Camden Coleman, the quarterback, getting it done as well. So Richmond will host a first-round game against the Lehigh Mountain Hawks. We just mentioned them in the highlights. The champs out of the Patriot League, out of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Head coach Kevin Cahill has them back in for the first time since 2017.
Well, it's, you know, good thing that they're on the road. They don't have any goalposts. You know, but listen, you know, they're getting it done, and this is a team to me that first-year quarterback in Hayden Johnson. The numbers are not eye-popping, but he's been really effective. Nearly 70% completion percentage. Also been able to help them on the ground, really where they've been the best, with Luke Yoder and Jaden Green, both over 600 yards rushing on the year. And we go back to what we said a little bit ago, Reedy. If you could run the football, you got a chance to make things happen in the playoffs.
And I love that first-round matchup. Patriot League champ versus CAA champ. Love it.
Mike Danucci, Matt Spatney getting it done there in the backfield as well, with some good TFLs, quarterback sacks, and they will try to get after Camden Coleman in that first-round matchup. All right, moving on down on the left-hand side. The winner of that game takes on Idaho. The winner of this matchup will take on UC Davis. And we've got Illinois State, the Redbirds, out of Normal, Illinois. Anything but normal, though. They will be able to host a first-round game simply because they've got some state high school playoffs going on there. But the at-large out of the Missouri Valley Football Conference, and head coach Brock Spack getting it done.
It's an experienced group. Coach Spack's been there a long time. You got a 2,000-yard passer in Tommy Rittenhouse. You got a 1,000-yard rusher in Winkins Wright. You got a 100 total tackle guy in Ty Nightcamp, the linebacker. So very good team, very experienced. But as you said, Matt, even though they're the 12 seed, got to go on the road for unforeseen circumstances, unfortunately.
First appearance since 2019. So where will the 12 seed go to the road. Oh, my goodness. They're going to Cape Girardeau, Missouri to take on Southeast Missouri State, the Redhawks, who won that four-way tie in the Big South OVC. Their second appearance in the last 3 seasons in this tournament, despite the loss to Tennessee State yesterday and losing 2 of their last 3. They are in. Good enough resume.
And they get to host, which is a pleasant surprise for SEMO. Finished the year 9-3. Battle-tested. I'll say that a lot with these teams. They've been in these playoffs, play tough schedules. Paxton De Laurent, their quarterback, how about this? 3,500 yards, 29 touchdowns on the season. And what I really like about him, Craig, at quarterback, is he spreads it around. SEMO's got 3 wide receivers with 60-plus catches on the year. It's outstanding.
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting matchup, too. So you can look at Illinois State. They come out of a really tough conference, but that's one of maybe not really impressive wins, but they took care of business. They won all the games that they should have won, and it was enough to kind of get them in.
Yeah, Illinois State with the win over North Dakota yesterday. Again, a little tail of the tape with some of these matchups. There you see Lehigh and Richmond. We'll get to more of the tails of the tape coming up, but let's go through the rest of this left-hand side. In the first round, South Dakota awaits the winner of this matchup here. Tarleton State, the Texans out of Stephenville, Texas. Out of the ASUN WAC, the United Athletic Conference, they set a new program, Division I wins record with 9. They moved up to the FCS in 2020, and head coach Todd Whitten gets their first FCS playoff appearance.
Yeah, Texans come a long way since a young Craig Harbert was a GA there for a D2 Tarleton State.
In spite of your presence, they've come a long way.
Well, it took them 20 years to get there, but nonetheless, they are there. Todd Whitten's a great guy. Actually, in all full disclosure, worked for him for a little bit. And it all starts with the ability to create turnovers. Double-digit in turnover margin. They've got an outstanding all-purpose back in Kavion Britton, over 1,700 yards on the ground, averaging over 6 yards a carry.
Yeah, Darius Cooper, one of the best catching the football, broke the program's career receiving yards record, more than 2,800 career yards for Darius Cooper. They will host in Stephenville the Drake Bulldogs. We showed them to you out of Des Moines, the Pioneer Football League champs, record of 8-2. Coach Todd Stepsis got their second FCS playoff appearance after making their inaugural appearance last season. They cruised past Stetson and cruised into the FCS playoff. Yeah,
building blocks, second year in a row. I think that's big for the program, moving in the right direction. Now you've got a great opportunity in the first round. And listen, a game like a week ago against Stetson, that's really dangerous because they're not very, they've been struggling this year.
And you had to go on the road, too.
They had to go on the road, but they took care of business. Their graduate quarterback, Luke Bailey, has been a 2-year starter, effective through the air, over 2,000 yards. Again, really good with his completion percentage. And Taj Hughes, over 60 receptions. He's been a really reliable target for them.
Finn Claypool, Sebastian Adamski can get after the quarterback. We have unveiled the entire left side. Those first-round matchups beginning next weekend. Cannot wait. What a feast it is going to be this week in more ways than one. Again, Destination Frisco coming up in January. That's the left side. We still have the right side to figure out. South Dakota State, 2-time reigning champs, is the number 3 overall seed. They await the winner of this matchup in the first round. The number 14 seed Montana Grizzlies. Their 4th straight FCS appearance. Again, made it all the way to the championship game a season ago.
Talk about battle-tested programs. Bobby Houck there, Montana. They've been through it all. It's a team that has a rushing offense of over 200 yards a game. We've talked about it, especially up there in the conditions. You want to be able to run the ball, play good defense. That's what Montana does. And again, coming out of the Big Sky, we just talked about the amount of teams up there in the Pacific Northwest. This is another one of those really good programs in Montana.
Well, you wonder with 4 losses, if they're not in the Big Sky, do they make it? I think, it's playing in a tough conference like that, I think certainly helps.
I agree, 100%.
Win over Western Carolina, win over Northern Arizona, win over soon-to-be Missouri State, as well as a pretty good resume there for Montana. Who's going to Missoula? Who's going to party up there? Oh, my goodness, it's Tennessee State, the Tigers, out of the Big South OVC. First time that we've had multiple teams from the Big South OVC in the field since 2019. And how about Eddie George, hired in 2021 to take over the program? takes them to the FCS playoffs in 2024.
Well, the Tigers playoffs started last week because there's no doubt their win at Southeast Missouri State got them in this field. I'm convinced of that. They go 9-3, and so they get in the field. They're excited. Oh, by the way, you got to go to Montana and play up in that weather, but you're in the field. You got a shot. Draylon Ellis, outstanding quarterbacks, dual threat. He can throw it. He can run it. And when you have a quarterback dangerous like that, watch out. So that's going to be a really fascinating first-round matchup for me.
Yeah, nearly 10,000 career passing yards for Ellis when you include his time at Austin Peay. There's a little tail of the tape with Tennessee State and Montana. Really fascinating matchup coming up this weekend in Missoula. So that's a first-round matchup on November 30th. You can see that on ESPNU. Gotta love the night kick. What's the other matchup? We've got the number 11 seed Villanova, the Wildcats out of the Coastal Athletic Conference. Mark Ferrante and company. Their 65th FCS playoff appearance, third in the last 4 seasons.
Yeah, so impressive. The 65 appearances. It just seems like they belong there, being consistent, getting it done, and see them punching in the football there, really. But when you see this Villanova team, it's about defense. Shane Hartzell, Brendan Bell, both of them over 100 tackles on the season. And in their five of their wins, they held opponents to under 20 points. In their 3 losses, though, over 30 points scored by their opponents. So really, defense is what's kind of driving them along. They need to play great defense.
Who will Villanova play? They will host Eastern Kentucky is in out of the ASUN WAC, the United Athletic Association. They were a bubble team. Walt Wells' club wins 5 straight to get them into the FCS playoffs for the second time in the last 3 seasons. Did not make it last year. They are in. Just a couple of FCS losses to Southern Utah and Abilene Christian. Again, they got hot at the right time.
Yeah, and one of those wins down the stretch was against Tarleton State, who we just talked about, and 2 of those losses were against FBS programs. So as you mentioned, just a really strong finish and a really strong quality win over the Texans there late. They helped boost EKU in.
Joshua Carter, great running back. Matt Morrissey at quarterback there for Eastern Kentucky. Winner there will take on Incarnate Word. The winner of this next coming matchup will take on the Mercer Bears. And we've got the number 10 seed, the Rhode Island Rams out of Kingston, Rhode Island. The Coastal Athletic Association gets the at-large. They finished the season 10-2. Jim Fleming's team, their only FCS loss, came to Delaware, team transitioning to the FCS.
Congratulations to Coach Jim Fleming, Athletic Director Thor Bjorn. It's their first appearance in the FCS playoffs since 1985. They've been, waiting for this in Kingston, Rhode Island. Well, you're in, guys. You got your chance. And to your point, Matt, 10 wins, only 1 FCS loss. This team is itching ready to go. A.J. Pena, one of their linebackers, 17.5 TFLs on the year, 10 sacks. They can get after the quarterback. Excited for the Rams.
Are they excited? Yes, they are. Oh, yeah, we get someone standing up. We get some selfies. We get some stuff on the gram, as the kids like to say. Oh, yeah, we're dancing. We're having some fun. Yeah, they don't say that at all, do they? 10 years too late on that. And Rhode Island will face Central Connecticut State, the Blue Devils, who we showed in the highlights earlier as they clinched the Northeast Championship, beating Duquesne to win the NEC berth.
And they needed, Central Connecticut State needed to get that automatic qualifier, so that upset of Duquesne. The question is, does it knock Duquesne out now? But Central Connecticut State is in. They have a chance, and you don't got to travel too far. You're staying in New England. You're playing Rhode Island. Another really interesting first-round matchup.
Elijah Howard, the running back. Brady Olson leading that passing attack for Central Connecticut State out of the Northeast Conference. And moving on down, we've only got a couple of more teams left, folks, and one of those is one we already knew. Abilene Christian, the Wildcats, who won the ASUN WAC. Keith Patterson's club making their first FCS playoff appearance. Congratulations. They got a couple of NAIA titles back in the 70s. They lost to Stephen F. Austin yesterday, but get that AQ. They're going to host again.
Yeah, I've talked a lot about defense. Well, when it comes to Abilene Christian, it's all about the offense.
Yeah.
They got the type of offense that keeps defensive coordinators up at night. Maverick McIver signed with Texas Tech coming out. The transfer has been outstanding, over nearly 4,000 yards through the air, 28 TDs, only 5 interceptions. They also got a 1,000-yard rusher in Sam Hicks, so they're getting it done either through the air or on the ground, and he does an outstanding job, McIver, of spreading the football around. 5 players with at least 25 catches. We're
going to talk to their head coach a little bit later on, but about their players, about their team. We know we're in, right? They got the all-black memo today. The white kicks, and they're having some fun out there at Abilene Christian, hosting a first-round game against Northern Arizona. The Lumberjacks, they were a heavy bubble team out of Flagstaff, Arizona. Head coach Brian Wright gets in their 6th recognized FCS playoff appearance, their first in 7 years. They started the year 3-4. 5 straight wins, got hot at the right time.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a strong finish for them. I think a lot of people wondered, would it be enough at the right time in order to get them in? Obviously, it was. Eastern Washington, who had been really kind of electric down the end, could score a lot of points. They were able to get that one. And of their 3 FCS losses, they were all the playoff teams.
Yeah, Montana, Idaho, and Incarnate Word. Yeah.
Northern Arizona getting in. That's 5 teams out of the Big Sky in this tournament.
Certainly perhaps a controversial selection there, but there is the field of 24. And the bids by conference, you mentioned it, 5 from the Big Sky. How about 3 from the Big South OVC as well? What's your reaction to this list?
I think, for me, listen, we talked about it, Big Sky, Missouri Valley, you knew that. I think CAA, very good representation, and I think the Big South, the OVC, both of those conferences kind of having to merge over the years. I think you can see them really kind of coming together and outputting some great teams.
The CAA came on strong. They came on late with their teams. I think that's why they got 4. And what you don't see on that list, SoCon, Southern Conference, only got 1 in with Mercer, and Southland only got 1 in with Incarnate Word. And usually those are 2 bid or more leagues.